Yeah, you were picked up right here. You were picked up right here. This is right where you got stopped. Had you have taken 4 more steps, you would have been off of their property.
Hey everyone,
and you would have doing a little video here. This is Central Tyrant Investigations doing a First Amendment audit. Now, pardon me. They were on this property, and again, this is something that I advocate for a lot. Every single person out there who wants to be an auditor or a First Amendment activist, you got to get Onyx Hunt. And why? Because it $100 a year and you get access to a GPS map that has every single bit of GIS data saved to it. So you can actually, if you get, stopped in front of somebody's house and the police are like, hey, you're on this person's property, we're going to trespass you, and then you could like pull up the thing and be like, no, this property is owned by this person. That's who owns this. Now, he lists Paducah or Paducah, I don't know, the police department here, and then this location, and you got the U.S. Bank, you've got Best Buy. So I went on Google and I found it, and you have the Verizon, you've got the AT&T cell store, you've got all of this stuff. There's the Best Buy, there's the JCPenney. You have all the stuff there. And another thing is that this is the property he was on. They walked him down here. This is the dumpster. This is the property that he was pretty much arrested on. When he was put in cuffs, because... let's see. When he was put in cuffs, you can see it here. He was put in cuffs back here next to the dumpsters. Let's see where. Yeah. So he's here. There's the dumpsters. Now here's Onyx Hunt. There's where we're looking. So we are scrolling in. Let's see. Paducah. No, not that. Let's see. Where is that highway? There's the highway. So we've got some key locations we got to look for here. There. Here we go. So, that is the property line of them. They are leasing this exact space. That is the Verizon store. You go on the Google Maps here, and there's Verizon right there. Yes, this is a complex, but this outlining stretch of road all the way around, this complex here, this section here, it is the complex. Ring Road is the defining statute here of the property, because that is the complex here. I'll move this over here. Which way am I going? there's the complex. Now, CTI was under the impression that this complex is also this complex, and it's all one thing, and Verizon is like the stores here. He was under the impression that this complex owned all of this property, and that's you see a mall and you see all the outlining stores, and that's kind of usually sometimes how it goes. But when it is attached to some place like this where it is a highway, it's off a highway, the frontage road stores are always almost always individually owned properties. And I mean, even if you come down here to Walmart is its own entity here, and the Murphy Oil USA Inc. is actually the defining character of this road. You've got Duck Mall. You've got Lowe's right down here. But again, he was under the impression that because he left the front of the business, that it was no longer their property. This is big, because if we zoom in here, we see that the property line is at the back of these stalls. So even
supervisor,
even here, he is still on this line. He's still on this line. So he is still technically on Verizon's property. Again, this, I cannot stress it enough. If you're going to do First Amendment auditing, you have to know exactly where you are. You can't be like, well, I'm on this property here. I know it. You have to be able to prove it. Now, the soliciting a trespass, in some states it's not allowed. In other states, it's a legal gray area in some places. It's just, you were on their property. He went in and said, "Hey, would you like this person to be trespassed?" That's a big no-no. That's a big no-no, because you didn't do anything illegal. They didn't ask you to leave. None of that. And that's the key feature here. The cop, is he an absolute dickhead? Yes. But, big but here. The biggest, 1990s Roseanne but is, it's private property. We look here, KY Private Lands, DJT Properties LLC, that's who owns it. Their tax address, it's got all their information, their county, the size of the property, and as you can see, it outlines the entire property here. The thing is had you have been, out on the grass over here, or even on the sidewalk area over here, you would have been protected. And then, even then, because you walked from this property and then you were trying to go to this property, but you kind of stopped at these dumpsters and you're like, I'm off their property. They don't own all of this. Well, they do. Had you gone to the Rockton Holdings property here, which is the McAllister's, the AT&T store. This is a strip mall type deal. This is the strip mall area. Let's see. Do they have a? They might. Yeah. See. Yeah, you were picked up right here. You were picked up right here. This is right where you got stopped. Had you have taken 4 more steps, you would have been off of their property, and you would have had the argument because he's like, "I'm trespassing." You were trespassing on Verizon's property. Had you stepped over this curb, you would have had a stronger case for protection here, because you would have legally been on the opposite property. And this property, because it is McAllister's, and you've got Cricket, and you have AT&T. This is a strip mall. This is a strip mall. These 3 places rent property from this building. Had you stepped onto this property, you would have had a stronger case, because if he went and got you trespassed from, say, AT&T here, and then you're not allowed in their store or on the curtilage of their property, which is this stretch here. You wouldn't have been able to step on here. But this is the defining line here, and you would have been able to go into whatever business this is, and Cricket. They have to get a trespass from each individual store or the property owner, which is Rockton Holdings. They would have had to contact this person to, they would have, 215 Troon Road. They would have had to contact the owner of this property to trespass you from all of these stores and the parking lot. But again, please, if you're going to be auditing and doing the First Amendment stuff, know where you are. Know your place in this, area. Because had you stepped over the line over here, he would have had to get a trespass from the Citizens Bank and Trust. You just cross over. Had you walked this way and stepped on this outside edge of the grass, had you been over here in this grass, you would have been okay. Had you come down here and stood, in this grass filming this way, you would have been good. But you went around the back of the building under the assumption that all of the businesses were connected to Kentucky Oats Mall. That's the property. You see the green line, that is their property. That is their property line. I can't stress it enough. Get on X Hunt. It is fantastic. It tells you who owns it. If you want to go someplace and there's no phone number listed, there's a tax address listed where you can send a letter being like, hey, my name's so-and-so. This is where you can reach me. This is how you can reach me. I want to, hunt on your land. I see that you own all this acreage. I want to go there and take photos. I want to go there and camp. Me and my family are interested in the area, and we want to get a lay of the land. Can we go onto your property with our RV and stay a couple days so that we can get information about the area? Where I'm an animal photographer. Can I go on your property and take photos? Can I hunt on your property? I mean, that is what this was designed for. But because you can literally pull up layers, all of these, I can pull up every state. I can pull up every state's GIS data just by selecting a state here. I can pull up all the data. I can pull up anybody's property information. But again, he was under the impression that all of these businesses were owned by the mall and that this was a leased property. But as we can see, it is not a leased property. It is an owned property. It is an owned property. If it was leased, then it would have the owner name, and you don't see Cricket or any of those other ones. All these businesses are renting from this owner. You go down here, Obermark. I don't know what the hell Obermark is, but whatevers. Obermark is Brentley's Fine Cigars and Tobacco Barn. They own that stretch of land. They own all the stuff in the back. I mean, look, they even own all the grass back there. They own all the grass back there. They could easily extend their parking lot or put another building back there and add a parking lot for that part too. They could make it bigger. You go to the next one, which is the FedEx place here. You've got what do we got here? Let's see. Do they have a thing here? Yeah, regions. Yeah, regions there. Hey, look at that. There's the property. There's the grass that the tobacco place owns. But you've got this business here. You've got all of that. People's First National Bank owns this entire stretch. This entire stretch is owned by the bank. This is all bank property right here. Cracker Barrel, owned by Cracker Barrel Old Country Buffet. You know, that's their property, and you can see that they have a cutout on this side. You have the easement here. You go back here, and they also have a small easement here. You go over here to the Steak and Shake. Look at the size of the easement on the outside of this. Yeah, this. I can't advocate for Onyx enough, because it will save you immensely. If you have it on Onyx, if you have Onyx and you get arrested or stopped, and they say, "Oh, you were on this property," well, your video as well as this data can prove them right or wrong. In this case, they were technically right because you never left the property. But this dingus right here, his responsibility as an officer of the law was to walk into the store, talk with them, and say, if you don't want him here, what I need you to do is come with me outside and tell him to leave your property. Not go inside and say, hey, I can trespass him if you want, and then come outside and tell you you're trespassed. I talked to them, they want you trespassed. No, it is you as the officer have to go inside the store and go, can you come out and tell him to leave if you don't want him here? If you don't want him on your property, you have to tell him. And if he refuses to leave, then I can arrest him. That's how that works. They can't just go in and go, hey, if you want me to go out there and arrest him, I will. You just have to tell me that you trespassed him. That's not how it works. If you, the auditor, are not informed that you cannot be on a property, then it is not trespassing because you were not, told. But there's also that gray area of if you were told by a representative or an officer that was told by a representative. Well, how do we know that the officer was told by the representative that you have to leave? That's the gray area, because they can tell, this officer can say, leave, get out of here, go. But again, they have to have somebody from the business tell you. It's such a gray area. But you were told that he spoke with people that wanted you to leave, and you said that you were, and said that you did, and that they didn't own it because they were renting or leasing. But GIS data shows that they do in fact own it. They do in fact own it. It is the entire property, the entire parking lot, front and back, all the way to this back corner where you were standing. Does it suck? Yes. Is it going to hold up in court? More than likely. More than likely, because of how this went down. And it sucks, because technically you were trespassing, and you did refuse because you said, I'm not going to talk until a supervisor gets here. Calling a supervisor is required. Once it's police policy in this police department's thing, they are required to get a supervisor. But no matter what, you didn't leave the property when informed and warned of trespass. It really does suck. But I mean, you can fight, you can argue, but at the end of the day, they're gonna pull up the GIS data, the business owner property, and everything, and they're gonna railroad you just because they can, and they're gonna try and make an example out of you, and it's gonna suck. It really is. It really, really is. But that's it. That's it for this one. Central Tyrant Investigations. Sorry about your luck. Sorry about the being arrested part. But you got to know exactly where you're standing at all times. You can't assume that a business is owned by an entire mall. You have to know exactly where you're standing. See you guys on the next one.